the media, for example, recorded investigating Facebook group and hateful posts is recorded using that for racketeering method because they're using time criminally. They're involved with way worse racketeering and with the detention facility problems. That's tied to their Justice Department racketeering, all private tied to them originally and still. There are a whole bunch of crime methods recorded tied to using uses of pretending to be against what they're for. They have everyone shocked and awe, no, standing there with a whole bunch of people of liars and things going on bad, and everyone not really not realizing how to act to in relationship to it, not by accident. Everyone recorded the value. This is what the racketeering method values and goes after first, originally, still styles of liars pretending other, and as victims, but as victim predators. So we have that investigation also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated how Facebook is involved with Connecticut interstates interbranch racketeering uses of Facebook for sexual abuses of kids and for abuses of them through DCF families. Also recorded with sexual circles and drug racketeering as ones involved with the leaderships of prisons, also involved with their prisoners and their patients and criminals before they went in there, recorded with racketeering with them. Now, these are people that have been lying about the substance of online, what is actually recorded, and using courts criminally with this to hide abuses of each age of fact sheet nature. These ones with the children further criminally are also drug clicks and untimely death spots used criminally with elderly homes clicks. As ones involved further with that with the worst interstates ties with a huge drug clicks used for identity thefts by the interbranch pretending to record things. Whole bunch of Weathersfield police, retired and standing, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the other natures of courts and with their family members. Two Mendes police with interbranch racketeering to get together acts and roles and uses of them by New Britain Superior Court with child sex offenders and human trafficking, attaching me and little kids to fake locations, fake conversations with them through time. I never had I never hung out with Eric Mendes one time in my life growing up. They pretended other in relationship to his roles with racketeering with a Yagman family with a whole bunch of doctors involved with them that have attached me to fake conversations. There's a Casper family also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with involved with them with foreign and domestic military and medical racketeering. Whole bunch of racketeering with them and identity thefts and evidence racketeering uses of downtown Hartford's clubs by people I never had conversations with, all exceptions criminal exploit. You walk by them, they pretend things because they have tied policing, tied to the CCSU, tied to Yale, on and off Yale. Those clubs there are involved with racketeering with the FBI building there, and with former director of the FBI involved with the media with the sequence shifts, and their racketeering uses of names like Mueller and Comey for their racketeering right through administrations, preventing mandated law, and pretending lies about people in the background when we're asking, like for example, right here on right up front online, asking for mandated law to be followed. You know, so follow sequence true too, and respond. This is in response to all kinds of natures of threats and racketeering acts against me and against others, even little kids. These are people with child abuse. They're valid. Those people that are with employments. These are private companies tied to both parties, using them criminally and pretending it's about politics. These both parties are criminally foreign influenced. Each branch of government is criminally foreign influenced. They have each individual grouped together of Weathersfield Police Department recorded, exploited how criminally foreign influenced racketeering roles all the way. I explained on Church Street and Weathersfield, in the house in the corner involved with racketeering acts at the campuses with their databases, each age of them connected, intercities, and connected through other people, their roles pretending to record things, pretending to perceive things, and then acting illusions tied to that. We have a whole bunch of people tied to the trade center further involved with these games with interbranch, preventing me a response. Then the same people that are involved with identity theft, racketeering, forging names, switching names, drug clicks with doctors involved with crimes with overt criminal enterprises in my area, with the houses involved also with racketeering uses of the stewards of the witness protection program, racketeering roles with the same overt criminal enterprises, same houses slash S involved with them. Further, with the principal sex offenders campus in the Britain Superior Court, people on off the state judicial branch offices involved with media racketeering, and the crime methods pretending to be against behavior and hateful things when they are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with hate groups and uses of each of those groups as weapons, weaponized. In other words, there is no there is no legitimacy to that debate where they have the Democratic candidates. They're sick. They're sick. Now, CT is stick. Follow mandated law. Stop pretending you guys can have a debate and you guys are sane. You guys are insane. You guys have physical delusions. Both parties, states and areas, each science. Now again, Church Street, that house in the corner, Church Street in Maine, and right up that street, and it keeps changing. It goes straight up to right through Weathersfield, right through Newington, and right to CCSU. All along that way, businesses and houses are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with other nations, including excuse me, including Russians, and including election racketeering uses of town offices, as the people involved also with WTNH, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with FBI uses, racketeering with child sex offender roles, human trafficking with judges. See, we have the judicial branch pretending to be against wanting independence criminally. They are recorded criminally already having been acting with other nations and with the other branches of government consciously criminally. So we have all kinds of natures of election crimes, time treatments, pretended integrity of investigations that have no integrity. They're incapable of it too because of how their recorded uses and roles self-valuing off campuses maintained on off campuses, worse than hurt of and prevention of the quality of correlation natures, quality of ground to fact sheet nature, active value discernment processes and treatments. We have fact treatment, nature, quality, premise treatments, sequence treatments, sick. We have logic treatments, physically delusions wrought, and with those locations also involved with racketeering methods. So they also use the sensibilities of misprision people pretending that some colleagues' integrity per another colleague is evidences criminally, and with the sequence racketeering that shows that. Now, follow mandated law. They also have the through time they have the branches of government involved with the reported and real, in other words, and or made up. Even if they pretended that was made up, that was a real by the religious spots. The religious cliques are involved with an O'Brien family and people from Sandy Hook, Newtown, who are involved with racketeering with schools in my town, though, and intercities, and with a Soto family not realizing, because I never had a conversation with them, but that Soto family is also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with state police and with FBI and with various natures of courts and their family members associated racketeering uses of the locations at the end of the Brown Turnpike, lying to family members, pretending they know people behind my back, pretending they know me. People I barely know, people I don't know at all. Involved with interbranch racketeering, human trafficking, WFSB, Fox Connecticut News. They have businesses. There was also Arch Pizza, and there's a Battison dry cleaner on the Southstein Highway and on a Maple Street involved with WFSB, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by themselves and by others involved with racketeering with people on and off the state judicial branch offices through time and through administrations. Now, these are people with all kinds of racketeering with each age of courts in their prisons of little kids that are involved with racketeering. We also medical. There's all kinds of medical racketeering because we have Experts on logic recorded delusions wrought and criminally foreign influence exploited that way originally and still. We have nations of jobs tied to that where everyone's relying upon experts as a bridge factory to nature quality. Wanting to succeed and to demonstrate how to do that, but and pretending is all right, but don't pretend that originally and still it wasn't very simple to record how we have criminally foreign influence campuses. Don't blame it on fake sides because we have fake sides leaders that are intercultural racketeering uses of that, consciously criminally recorded, consciously criminally pretending to be against it. They're victim predators. They never had a chance, logic wise, because of this. So follow mandated law, WTNH, WFSB, the Fox Connecticut News. Why do you guys gotta have make everything so hard? Why do I have to beg? You guys are also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with the agencies involved where they influence people to act things, pretend like hold detailed fake conversations on Facebook so they can pretend to perceive things they need to keep pretending to perceive because of their roles with the racketeering through time with databases and with mail crimes, wire crimes, with people with the AT&T have recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the Justice Department, Washington, D.C. Trade Center, racketeering with my town, intercities, with that line right up to CCSU through towns with foreign and domestic, all along with people involved with racketeering with Russians, but through other natures of racketeering. Other nature of the racketeering roles with the locations on off Hartford Hospital, on off Fox Connecticut News, with Russian families involved, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with them media racketeering also. Public access is also involved with them with that criminally. And with corners, like a corner on Gridsell Street and Maple Street, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved racketeering uses of Trinity College and CCSU, pretending to perceive things. There was a blind tied to a woman who walked by with a child in a stroller, for example. But also that's involved with real estate racketeering, intercities, also with people on and off uh, uh, intercities campuses with a Scalora family, with other people involved with some child sex offenders, with other natures of racketeering, with identity theft clicks like with CIA families and other people that I don't even know what they look like except for them on Facebook. And I heard their names before, like a Kelly Kazmarek, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with a whole bunch of people with medical racketeering, with the corner of the corners of schools, like next to the high school, with also people that's right across the street from the middle school, and that's also with the Zano family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with racketeering when they were kids, with people on and off Trinity College and CCSU and interstates, like with Johnson and Wales, with a Cololo family that has a Phil Cololo and has the Scalora family further recorded involved with racketeering with child sex offenders and medical and drug crimes and criminal roles with untimely deaths on off Trinity College and tied recorded predicate acts clicks and sexual circles involved with them that I don't even know. They took me to the location a couple times for a wedding party where they changed the Maggie's name. They also have forged names, switching names like that. CCSU, a whole bunch of state police forms and sexual circles that share a woman like a Maggie, like a Daryl Sullivan with a Lena's Pizza on Park Street. Sought me out to record and confess with their friends also. And they're in the sexual circles that they're involved with all bunch of natures of racketeering. These are people also involved with all the people involved with the racketeering leading up to and in the trade center context and since that was used criminally to hide my request and needs to have anyone respond to any part of the confessions and demonstrations of racketeering roles with that leading up to it in it. Other natures of racketeering, but as the people involved with that, they don't understand the extent of it. But I'm trying to talk about what people actually talk about. It's all right if someone wants to deny something, have them pick something, one name in sequence. I'm not trying to ask about what's deniable. They're also lying about what's deniable with uses of Facebook. Like again, their uses criminally recorded of pretending to be against hateful language in a Facebook post because of their roles with racketeering and racketeering uses of the media by the FBI and by the CIA and by judges involved with racketeering with them with other nations. Whole bunch of there's Russians also involved on and off a park in my town, Millwoods Park, and another park in town through time. Houses next to it recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with fire departments, also with judges and with state police and with FBI and with federal criminal code defendants, a former director of the FBI. Again, involved with racketeering, identity thefts, human trafficking, right through administrations. Now they're needing as a value for racketeering to pretend to be against what they are for, which is way worse than the punk things that they're pretending to be against with a Facebook group. And they wouldn't be they wouldn't be making that known. In other words, what is true always is other than what they're pretending. Now they also have a whole bunch of racketeering with private drugs and with the uses of insurance companies, all of them, with their private police and uses of identity of the ground and their evidence reception racketeering and indifference to all the hurt tied to this. These natures of there are natures of industries that were allowed leeway because we never had enough jobs while we had Forsaken originally and still. And while we had it originally and still, that Forsaken was not allowed, demonstrated. What is actually recorded, actually science. So Facebook is recorded as a fact cheaping nature value used for racketeering by the media, national and WTNH, WFSB, and Fox Connecticut News are also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with DACA and other racketeering. Other programs involved with racketeering on intercampuses through time, uses of downtown Hartford to hide it, uses of people's extended family members criminally, uses of their own families. This is differentially hurting people in relationship to how they keep everyone needing to, oh, forget that, forget the past. Oh, you need to let things go. They're exploiting how people need to, well, why should I not write my book the way I want to write it? Now all I need is recorded. It's very simple. I can't even say, I need to have them from the names, for these names and sequence shifting names. And you have to see all the actually recorded sick natures with the kids' prisons and with medical racketeering with each age of fact treatment nature, especially with all the racketeering associated with the various natures of courts, distinctly and non distinctly, their family members, and also how that's maintained, them needing to hide lab aggressions, roles with evidence reception racketeering on off Trinity College, on off Yale, on off UConn, all connected, on off CCSU connected, on off WFSB recorded involved with state police racketeering, also with forensics locations in play, people at the end of the Burn Turnpike involved with them racketeering with uses of a Soto family also and with medical racketeering military and with VAs and with their uses of military identities where they had them pretend things in past, where they affected confessions from girls that had boyfriends, where those boyfriends and their family members and their brothers and sisters were demonstrating, confessing, recorded criminal uses of their who went out with them, and they were sharing them at the same time, which is also involved with this. Because then these are people pretending they don't like people for reasons they're making up because they already attach me and others to fake locations and fake conversations with these people. A whole bunch of people tied to these Mendez police are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Also, a Della Fera family recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with retired and judges and standing judges, especially of but recorded pretending to be about morality when they're recorded sick, degenerate, fake, real sick people, and crime methods recorded, crime natures actually recorded, criminal safety natures, like and forging names and switching names. So we have to get them in sequence first. Then the Judge Killian. See, there's various natures of courts who are crimes with his court and with his person before he was recorded, tied to me, but faking, speaking into a recorded record after what he already, through others. I never had a conversation with him. The conversation he recorded is other than he's pretending is what is actually recorded, because they communicate other than they say. They're playing fact cheaping nature racketeering with words like semantics and like rhetoric, also for sequence racketeering, where they're evidence racketeering in courts. You know how sick it is to evidence racketeering in courts, like using a weapon against someone. It's torture, as the kind that our American history is really about. And we have American history maintained criminally foreign influence. Now, there are a whole bunch of state police that are involved with a sexual circle with um a Daryl Sullivan on Church Street with Park Street. I don't know him. They sought me out to confess, to demonstrate, record. He's involved with also with interbranch and foreign and domestic military racketeering, with child sex offenders, medical offenders with kids, roles with that, with their crimes, with their patients and criminals used to hide their life progressions. Now they're using value treatments for racketeering here, like pretending to be against hateful speech, but and preventing the sequence shifts, racketeering roles that usually they were already involved with uses of Facebook policing for human trafficking, for racketeering cases already. And there's people involved with racketeering leading up to and in the Trade Center attack context, criminally from inside the Trade Center and from inside the Ninth Circuit right next to it, and from and on off that, and locations on off of it. Now these are exploiting too. Every if you have to sleep, they're exploiting that weakness. Now they're exploiting the strengths that are people that just indifferent. They're going to give up their life to changing success for money, even though the system's abridged. You know what I'm saying? And the most critical things that we have obligations to understand with science, like uses of color by the racketeering method that forced it used by everyone then and now, we have obligations to have that recorded, demonstrated. Because what's also recorded is them hiding what's actually recorded through these sick methods. And as people recorded, pretending to be against hate speech because they were already involved with state scenarios with treatments of each age of forsaken nature already exploited in sustained ways, and then the reactions to that exploiting them worse. They're hurting people in ways to keep each age of fact treatment nature, blaming other things, others themselves, for what hurt them. So follow mandated law. We have mandated law as a value involved with all fact treatment nature racketeering, with judges, their whole courts of various natures of them, distinctly and non-distinctly, on off their state prison offices, on off the state judicial branch offices, how they maintain criminally foreign influences is recorded. Now there's also a whole bunch of military racketeering recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the land behind Two Route Highway and associated with the Burlington Turnpike and leading into the heart of Hartford, and with other routes leading into it, like a DeMoro's food place in Rocky Hill now used to be in Hartford, near with involved, still involved with on and off Hartford Hospital racketeering, with a whole bunch of natures of intercities racketeering, people involved with the Trade Center criminally. Now there's a Christine Gilligan I never had a conversation with. There's other women I don't know the names of that are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with people on and off Cedar Hill Cemetery, and at the end of the Burlington Turnpike, on and off the golf course across the street from it, and on and off the people associated on with the family member of the gravestone place directly at the end of that street, with a whole bunch of foreign and domestic nations and family members involved with racketeering, with police forms, also intercities, interstates, and like MIT involved with racketeering, also with the investigators of that of that where they attacked everyone within it were going to be congregated with that the Boston Marathon. They have a further Boston College, Boston University involved racketeering with houses next to the middle school and high school in my town, with businesses involved with them, with racketeering with uses of the intelligence community. Now they have Jim Shudo also involved with CCSU, with medical and foreign and domestic military racketeering, involved with all kinds of nature racketeering against private citizens, involved with that, with the military self-valuing, medical racketeering against other, and all kinds of natures of racketeering when you put people up. That's not a scientific test. When you blow up a weapon and have humans standing there, put a horse there, put a goddamn cow. In other words, we have all kinds of medical racketeering where they're doing research, also involved with them, with racketeering, with legal racketeering, with lawyers used criminally too, or fake sides of correlation nature for the crime methods and crime natures actually recorded of the various natures of courts, of the same courts and of other natures of courts, recorded strictly, distinctly, and non distinctly how to maintain criminally foreign influence. They're recorded using crime methods of pretending to be about wanting needs for judicial independence when they know they are criminally foreign influence crime methods and natures individually grouped together with our branches and with other nations and with the military and with fake care for titles so they can pretend passions and emotions. And they're keeping styles of people incapable of standing anyone with free speech who's not delusions raw and criminally foreign influenced, as those sensibilities natures, as criminal and citizens natures of positive. See, positive is another nature of thing, Bach saying. Now, this is a problem where they're using each identity of the ground business location, where each of those identity, they just went into business people. They didn't care about the law. They had, who was pretending to care about the law. They require already inclusion with originally left by our founders to demonstrate sick branches of government individually grouped and together. Fix the fake news. WTNH, come on. Let's get these the FBI done here. They're involved with AT&T. Let's go. Please get the response for the Della Fera family for the for Rob Schedule family and people associated with Wesleyan College and on and off their locations, like with the river there, with the Harbor Park, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with the people intercities, with the campuses, and attaching me to fake locations with military, foreign, and domestic involved with them criminally, prison cliques. Doctors of psychology with badges involved with racketeering, also with body dumping spots, legal and otherwise criminal, and the investigations of that. Also, racketeering roles and nature is tied to and as the value of those investigating the numbers of untimely deaths of people of service people recorded originally and still uses as a tool to keep originally and still breaching influence states and areas military recorded the Coast Guard has recorded how kept racketeering criminally foreign influence delusion law get them from like get them to pick one name in sequence on any of those people, and especially the courts, because this is recorded evidences. Whole crime methods are recorded involved here. Also, again, with their roles with private and their sequence racketeering methods, where they forge names, switch names, falsify police reports against people who are trying to complain against things, so to prevent themselves from being caught. And then they keep everyone, they make overall allegations against people, and they pretend that they're against people because they're making allegations that they haven't proven when they know that it's already recorded. They're lying about what is actually recorded on Facebook. They are recorded using the sensibilities of online platforms in relationship to like hate speech and people attacking the users of those platforms, where they keep either you're going to be in collusion with the fake sides of that, individually grouped and together, or you're going to get hurt by it, and you're going to have fake counters to it, further attaching you to fake, you know, more fake things into databases. Not just those private databases, but interbranch ones and intercampuses already tied to that, and that kept recorded. It shows how they were kept and how to keep needing to hide lie progressions tied to what's actually recorded that they're needing to lie about now. There's a former Mayor Gold also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with people associated with the transition from ACA to RICO, also with the child sex offenders cliques, with forensics locations, and with the counters to those. They're also involved with mentally ill people that go, or claimed mentally ill people that go into courts, where those judges are recorded. Also with doctors, foreign and domestic, recorded involved with racketeering with child sex offenders and with physical delusions originally still. When these people open their mouths, for example, about what they believe is hate speech, they're already recorded and involved with way worse racketeering roles against everyone. These are right through administration. CCSU is involved with CNN racketeering roles with right through administrations with elections. Now, so they have both parties involved, keeping the president, whoever wins, whoever's going to take part, has to entertain states and areas opinions, criminally foreign influence. You can't defend her with pretend not to realize that, and us at the same time from what exploits that. Positive has an identity that is going to be discerned. Not one has learned.